And this is it. Sorry folks for a little delay there. It's the STC, the Sim Racing Team Challenge, brought to you by the GameHosters.net. This is your friendly voice, Eckhart von Glan. Something like 35 minutes late, but what the heck. We have 5 minutes to go before the start of the first race of this new season here. Let's see if the defending champions, Bahrain Racing, if they can actually defend their title. Looking at the results of the qualification, it's going to be an uphill battle for them, but more about that later. Tonight, we're at Bahrain, but let me introduce my technical guru, Jose Estrada, to you. Jose, welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome to the club of stress, Eckhart.
Yes, sorry for that, mate. We had some serious background problems here, but it seems that we are on air now. I've done this text before, actually, 20 minutes ago, but it seems we weren't on air then. And 4 minutes ago, not much time to introduce all the changes here at the STC to you. Let me just say that we have a brand new mod, and before we introduce the teams, let me read an interview that I made with our modder, with Gunther Rowe, to you. We'll change the order a little bit. Jose, I am indeed improvising here because I think this interview is so great, needs to be read out. Roa is living in New Zealand, so guy's probably asleep now, 4 o'clock in the morning, but this is what he said. I asked him how many man-hours went into the mod, and he says about 145 hours he produced the cars and everything, but there was many more hours put in by the STC beta testers. He needed solid feedback and some serious accurate numbers to work off the start, and later some feelings to get the perfect balance. This was provided in such a way and very quickly. He doesn't truly think people understood that the testers' workload and dedication was immense. He lost some time with some cars that couldn't be added, but all in all, he says that the mod's total averaged 1,000 hours, including all the testers and the input. I think that is massive, guys. And then I asked him how he hit on the cars that you'll see in half a second that are in the mod, and was there a wish list by the STC staff? And he says, yes, that was indeed the case. Management gave him a wish list, and then there were additions in the process, some changes that he also introduced, and then in the end they came up with the list that we have today. And I also asked him which he thinks is the nicest ride in the mod, I mean aesthetically, and is there one ride that he really misses now that the teams have made their choice. And Gunther says, yes, he's a Porsche and a Lambo fanboy, and so the VW, the Scirocco, also looked cool, as did the Ferrari. Sad to say that the Lambo went out, but the Porsche was chosen by the defending champion, so we'll see plenty of that. And I then asked him if this wasn't a really time-consuming job and what he really did in real life. And he told me that his real-life job is sale marketing, and he's a 4x4 tour guide out here in Queenstown, New Zealand. So if you're ever down there, Queenstown, don't forget to book a trip with our very own Gunther Rowe. What happened actually was that poor fellow had an injury, had an accident on one of these tours apparently. He lost a finger, can you believe it, folks? Lost a finger, damaged 2 others, but then basically straight back from the hospital, went to work on the mod again to have everything appear on time. Finally, I asked him, almost finally, if he's working on other mods at the moment, and he said, yeah, well, I'm doing a Formula 1 2007 League Edition. I'm working on a Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup. There's the Clio Cup 2008, the V8 Supercars 2010, the Mini 2008, and so on, a few other things, and so on and so on. So he's a really busy guy. My last question was, is there anything you'd like to say to the STC community before we kick off the new season? And this now straight from Gunther Rowe. He says, like all the other mods, skins, etc. I have worked on, I truly love the whole process, and I wish you guys the best of luck for the season. Well, thank you, Gunther. for these kind words at the start of the season. We are 30 seconds away from the beginning of the first race, and let me tell you the qualification results. We had a huge shock for the Black Rebels because their top driver, David Greco, dropped out of the grid at the start of the qualification, didn't get on until about a minute to go, but he's back in the race in the last position. In 1, we have Dragos Haber of the Roaring Pipes Maniacs. In 2, Luda Andersson, and then in 3, Torbjörn Lindau, both of them for Danielsson Motorsports Team 1. In 4, it's Vincent Stahl, and he is, of course, racing for the DHR GP. And then we have Tor Qualman, second DHR GP in 5. In 6, a racer from our own new team here, Antonio Cabria, racing for Course Online. Then we have in 7, Kevin Clark for the Flat Out, and in 8, Teo Bubicic racing for the DHR Fanatec team. But right now it's time to go on the track because we're about to start the race, and I need to join on the track too. And there we are. We have the same procedure now as in every other race, and that is that David Garcia will join in the pace car at the back of the grid. We'll then have one paced lap, and if everything is fine at the end of the paced lap, we'll have the green flag. David will go into the pits, and we'll have the start of 90 minutes of pure online sim racing fun. And as the players get on the grid, one or two more words about the track. We're in the desert, so it's strange we had a wet qualifying, but I hear that from time to time there's rain even out there. It's one of the Thielke tracks, really. One of the tracks that German architect Thielke designed. I think it's about 4 or 5 years old. There are various configurations. The configuration we're running is the old GP version. If you're watching the Formula 1 in the weekend, or over the weekend, you'll be surprised to find they have added 8 more turns. They're also actually in the mod here, but we'll not be racing them. After turn 3 or so, there's a little detour, 8 more turns, and we'll not do that. The track we run is in real life something like a little over 5 kilometers long. Here are my numbers, 5.4 kilometers. In fact, it has 15 turns. 4 straight, longest of which is 1,000 meters. There's a change of elevation of 18 meters overall, and the width ranges from 14 to 22 meters. In real life, sand is the most important danger here for the drivers, sand being blown in from the desert, but racers tell me that after about 20 to 30 minutes, that problem is more or less dealt with as the cars have picked up all the sand there is to be picked up. So we see David going to the front of the grid, and as the cars go out on the first lap, on the introduction lap, yes, we changed the track. We modded it. We'll hear more about the modder in the next broadcast, so we're not introducing him at this point, but Jose, you might maybe add 1 or 2 things that I don't know about what we actually modded. I know we changed the curbs to make it more difficult to cut in various places. Anything else we changed?
No, not really in Bahrain. In other tracks, yes, we also modify the layout to make it more actual. But in Bahrain, we just take care of cutting, because in most tracks is really an issue.
Okay. And Jose, which car are the viewers following at this point? Are they with Dragos Haber, the pole sitter?
I'm just switching to the track now, and we are with David, the safety car now.
Okay, I'll point to some of the new curves to you as we go along. This is the downhill stretch now that the Formula 1 won't be racing this weekend. You won't see this part of the track. They will rejoin the track, I think coming from the left about here. And I think now, if you watch the inside here, you see 3 little bits lying there. These are some of the new curves there we put into the sand here, into the virtual sand in Bahrain, because that was one of the corners where you could really save a couple of seconds going off the track and hitting the turn. There's a funny passage as we follow David and Dragos Harbor now. If you go off the track here, and actually you can hide behind the wall there that you just saw, and you can't get out again. That's what happened to me yesterday. We're now on one of the straights that is actually running parallel to the main straight, and there's a quite sharp left-hander coming up, and I think it's also one of the turns where we put in some extra curves. Let's see if that is true. And once we've done that, maybe we should also talk about, no curves here, sorry. Let's talk about something else. We also changed the rules insofar as all the rides now have a small difference, meaning that the two teams of one car are different in one or two aspects. Usually you will find that we have different colors on the windshield. So Dragos Harbor, for example, is sporting a white stripe on the windshield, and the other RPM car, let's check my list here, the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, has a black stripe. Sorry, no, should be black there. And we can see it with the Danielsson Motorsports. They are in position 2 and 3, and Ludde Andersson in 2 has a red windshield mark there, while Torbjörn Lindau has a white one. But enough talking. We're about to kick the season off, and David Garcia has in fact now moved into the pits, and now it's for Dragos to start what is promising a superb new season here at the STC. He is about to set the pace. Once he crosses the finish line, there is no overtaking before that. He's very slow now, and now he's on the throttle, he's off, the new season is off. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And look at that beautiful field in the back. They're all trying to, of course, already get some advantage, and we have the first little touch there. It's one of the DHR guys touches Harbor has to go off, and also the second DHR guy has to go off. There's kind of confusion over there. Force Racing is trying to hang on, and we already have a new race leader after only the first turn. And that new race leader is Ludde Andersson, a newcomer here for the Danielsson Motorsports, but it seems this guy knows what he's doing. Ludde Andersson in front of the beautiful Ford GT40 here in the new STC mod, followed by Vincent Stahl for DHR GP, followed by Torbjörn Lindau in the second Danielsson Motorsports Team 1 Ford, and followed by Theo Bubicic in the first DHR Fanatec Aston Martin. And then we have Antonio Cambria. He's trying a move there. He's turning. Cambria is turning. That racer there, Bubicic, and that has moved Cambria up one position to number 4. And but let's keep with the front racers. Andersson still in position number 1, Vincent Stahl still in position number 2, and the second DMS car, that's Torbjörn Lindau, in position number 3. We've almost finished the first lap. There's an awful lot of movement in the field behind. We'll give you an update on that, I suppose, in lap number 2 or 3. But let's stick with the leaders here for the first lap, because they've already put a little distance, one of my favorite sentences, they've put a little distance between the first 3 here and the rest of the field, also due to the fact that Bubicic was turned there in the Stahl crosses the line here at number 2, following Ludde Andersson in 1, Stahl in 2, and then Lindau in 3. Whoa, lots of action there. Jose, maybe a quick comment from you on the first lap here for the new season, if you could follow it at all.
Well, since this season started really aggressive in comparison with last season, the starts were really calm, clean, and here there was a battle from first corner.
Yep, we'll, I think, have a little work on the WAR system. The WAR system, the WAR system, is our system for dealing with incidents. That's done by the team spokesman who have been elected by the teams, and they will then decide if there's an incident. And of course the teams have to report the incidents, and then if there's any infraction that we see, we will then decide what's happening. So, Jose, it might be a bit early, but I think the field has more or less settled, so we might give our viewers a first rundown already in lap number 1 or 2, sorry, so they get to know all the races and all the cars. But Jose, sorry, you wanted to tell me something. It's just technical stuff.
No, not really. I just going to say that it's a good idea to make a rundown to show all the things to the viewers.
Okay, in one then, Lude Anderson, already under pressure here from the DHR guy, who is of course our number 2, Vincent Spa, one of the fastest guys out there, and he is ready to eat Mr. Anderson at this point, I suppose. He's putting a mighty pressure on him. And as you can see, the champions, DHR JP, they chose the Force, always a favorite site of many teams here, of many viewers also on any track in the world. And look at that gap closing behind these two. Sorry, not closing, but opening up behind these two. I'm getting carried away a little already. In position number 3, Torbjörn Lindau. He's been with us many races the last season. Really fast guy, but also very, very consistent. There's no chance that you're going to see him making any mistake at all. He's going to put down one lap after another with just like a tenth of a second or so between the laps. Also racing one of the beautiful Ford GT40s of the Danielson Motorsports. Then in position number 4, a guy we've met already. It's Antonio Cambria for our new team, for Corse Online, an Italian team that joined us for the French races of Team GG, who dropped out due to other commitments. So, au revoir Gigi, welcome Team Corse here from Italy, and he's just now being overtaken by the second of the DHR GP racers, and that is Tor Kvalman of Denmark, who is now in the brake zone here before the final turn, and makes a very clean move on the Corse Musler, and has actually overtaken him. And you can see behind the cars that there's little stripe on the tarmac, so the track is still a little wet. Then in position number 5 in the slipstream here, that's Theo Bubicic. And Bubicic in the DHR Fanatec actually accidentally punch off the DHR GP racer there, punch off Tor Kvalman. Oh my goodness, that was of course purely accidental. No way Bubicic wanted to do that, and he is so much in command of what he's doing that I wonder what was going on there. He must have lost it for just a tenth of a second. This means we have to go upfield a little to catch up with our rundown. And I think, Jose, we should go back to Mr. Antonio Cambria in position number 4, who of course was the guy taking advantage of this maneuver there, and is back and forth. Followed closely by another blizzard fast guy, the pole sitter, Dragos Hama, who had some problems in the first lap, was touched there in T1 we saw, and but it looks as if he's recovering, and he's racing for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs in a really nice racer, the name of which unfortunately escapes me at this moment, even though I used to race, I think, in the same ride in another tournament way back. but it'll come back, don't worry. Then we have the first of the Aston Martins here, Carlos Hernandez, for the DHR Fanatec, the junior team of the DHR GP, who also slipped past his teammate right now. We have Igor Bubicic in position number 7, followed very, very, very closely by one of the flat-out guys. That is Kevin Clark in the Vertigo Strife. It looks absolutely breathtaking here in the yellow and black, and also they added some red this season, which I personally like very much indeed. And that's Team Flat Out, the proper team, and they also have a junior team, which we come to later. And behind him, it's my great pleasure to introduce my teammate, Christopher Larsson, running for the Blue Flag Racing and putting in what is unfortunately an overtaking maneuver that didn't quite work out the way he planned. He's running BMW, as you can clearly see in our Blue Flag colors, blue and white. This means we have to move up the grid again to position number 9. And there we have one of the fastest guys out there, David Greco, who also, like Tor Qualman, races in real life as well. And Greco, as I said, was the last. He was in 24 when we started, and he's already up to 9 in 3 to 4 laps. And let's see where he will end up at the end of the race. And behind him, we have Qualman in position number 9. Don't think they ever met, though, on a real-life racing track. I think Greco is more into racing in his native Italy and the Southern Hemisphere, while Qualman, I think, races in Denmark, if I remember correctly. So, really, and there a push, if I saw that correctly, or it was a bit of lag there for Greco. And trying to get past, and he's really lagging, trying to get past that flat-out racer there, and he's managed to do it. And now also Qualman attacking, but no, we can't get past. Christopher Larsson down to 10, unfortunately, but still keeping up with the fast guys, which I'm really proud of. Great job, Christopher. Then in 11, we have the first of the second Danielsson team, Johan Pesula. Danielsson Motorsports, also in the BMW. It's the Z4, if I'm not mistaken there. Great looking ride here in the green and black Danielsson Motorsports. Then, Gregory Tsugotti, the famed Skinner, also a great racer, as you can see here. He is in position number 12 with the Ford Mustang, and it's a great ride. It has an awesome sound, and unfortunately on my screen I see we're losing players. We're losing Theo Bubicic. We've, I think, lost both of the course players already, so there seems to be some problem along the line somewhere. But we're on our rundown, position number 11, Gregory Tsugotti. Neil Gold, the first of the Black Visor Motorsports, in a really funny looking little car here, and that is the, Jose, help me out, what's the name of this great little racer? Yeah, it's the Ultima, exactly. And really absolutely fun to race, and I also like that design they have with the eyes there for the Black Visor. Motorsports, he's driving the red Ultima. We also will see one with a bit of green later on. In 13, Christopher Aponti, well-known name here in the white Roaring Pipes Maniacs version. And Jose, I still need the name of the car that the Roaring Pipes Maniacs are racing in. A bit of a blackout here, car-wise for me, sorry. What car is that again?
It's a Marcos.
Marcos Margarelli, and you're definitely right. Yep. Used to play it too. How it comes, I don't know. Anyway. Roy Carlef, a name I really fancy. Sorry, Roy. But you've got it coming. I mean, Carlef and being in a virtual ride. And he's also racing for the Flat Out in the Vertigo. And look at that rain on the horizon there. I suppose we'll have some rain in about 20 minutes or so, if I see that correctly here. Nigel Atkins in the second of the Black Visor Motorsports races, followed in position 16 by the second of the Roaring Pipes Maniacs. Sorry guys, of the Blue Flag Racers, that's my mate Mikael Larsson. No relation to Christopher Larsson. I can't say that often enough. Then the second of the Black Rebels, Kevin Ledoux, in the green, black and yellow Corvette that changed color a lot in the run-up to this season. Second of the DMS team number 2, that's Jon Westerlund. We saw him in the Corvette last season and he's back now in the BMW. First of the Amy Dagan racers, Keith Apples, in the Seat Cupra. Really like that design there that they came up with. Little touch here with Luc Mongas for the Project D in position number 20. So that's typical STC stuff here. Guys fighting for position 19 and 20 even though they have 80 minutes to go. And then the first of the Flathard Junior team in the Sirocco, Brian Ronald. Absolutely brilliant skin if you ask me. Really looking great. And the Carnell for Amy in the second of the Cupra's yellow and black. And I think that is the last of the races running. Yes, it is. So that means we have 22 of 25 guys who are actually at the beginning of the race on the grid. Still in the race, we have 3 players who have left either because they had problems in the race or because there was a hardware problem somewhere along the line. And I think it's time to go back to the top and see what's going on there. And there we are, and as I told you, Vincent Stahl is not one to wait very long before he makes his move. He's made his move as we were moving down the grid. Sorry to the reigning champions, DHR GP, we missed you taking over the lead here, something that you've done a lot during last season, even though the colors have changed. Because of that new sponsor there, Simcraft. And Vincent Stahl in position number 1 now, followed by the former race leader Lude Andersson in the Ford GT40 of Danielsson Motorsports 1. But he's still within striking distance, I would say. And behind him we can see the second of the Danielsson racers there in position number 2, that is Torbjörn Lindau. And looking further down the track, should be Dragos Haber for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, then Tor Qualman in 5, and Carlos Hernandez in 6. Still no sign of David Greco, who seems to have been held up a little there in his move up the track. Vincent Stahl out onto the front and starts straight in, if I counted this correctly, should be lap number 6 by now, of this first race of the new season in the STC. And I think David Garcia is with us now, who was in the pace car before. David, anything about that pace car lap there? Anything you noticed on the track? How did you see the start?
Hello, good night, mates. Well, nothing to talk about. It was a safe formation lap. I had Vincent Garcia, my teammate and brother, and STC staff cooperator, helping me with the safety car in the back of the pack, informating me about the conditions of the group, and I think it worked perfect. Eckhart.
Brilliant, and that all hell broke loose in lap number 1. Did you follow any of that on your screen?
No, I had no chance of watch the incident. Eckhart, I'm sorry. I was in my way back to the pit.
Yep, definitely. So We'll find out possibly on the forums after the race what really happened there. Unfortunately, so far we don't have the technology to do a replay here for you. Only thing I saw is that there was an incident between turn number 1 and turn number 2 involving the pole sitter. And there were further incidents in the field going down the grid. Also in position 8 or 9 I saw something there, a little touch there, and also somebody spinning off the track. And we know we have lost 3 races already, and due to whatever failure, either in-game or outside the game. So really a lot of action going on here, and we have David Greco moving up the grid, and let's see how far he gets. Another lap finished for Vincent Stahl, and he has managed, I think, to open the gap a little more to Lude Andersson, who is pursuing here down the very long straight at Bahrain. And the gap between Lude and his fellow teammate is at this point Lude is behind 3 seconds, and then Torbjörn Lindahl is behind 7 more seconds, while Dragos Haber is 4.8 seconds behind Torbjörn Lindahl. And David Greco still hold up there in position number 9, 26 seconds down. That's gonna be near impossible for him to catch up, especially with guys like Vincent Stahl, Lude Andersson, Torbjörn Lindahl, Dragos Haber, Tor Qualman up there in the top 5. These are all super fast guys, and it will be really difficult for David to get back from that misfortune he apparently had in the qualifying that made him miss the qualifying in total except for the last minute and start from the rear of the grid. And David, now that the dust has settled a little, you were really involved in the whole process of setting up the mod. Maybe you'd like to add 1 or 2 comments to Gunther's comments that I read out and that you possibly also read on the forum in our staff meetings there. How is that process from your view going on? And maybe you can give us some juicy details about cars being dropped and whatever else happened.
Yes, of course, Eckhart. I was involved since the start until the end of the process, from the cars to the tracks. If you want to know about the cars, well, there have been a couple of cars out of the final release because, well, there was a problem with the motor gun, as everybody knows. It looks like it was creating some problems with the functionality of the mod, and the other car dropping from the mod was the Alfa 8C. It was a very cool model. It was almost finished when we really noticed that it was not played out of Jason from Fallout was creating the basic mod of the cars, and then it was Gunther Rowe, as everybody knows. He was working really hard to finish the work. I think he had the 70% of the work, and he worked really hard. Trust me, because it was a huge work to complete the car pack.
When I got the mod, it was really like having a completely new game. I mean, all the sounds are new, the graphics are new, it's breathtaking. And some of these rides we have never seen in GTR ever before, haven't we? Like the Scirocco. And for all those of you that are out there just watching the show now, don't try to get it anywhere. It's exclusive. You will only see it here in the STC, and your only chance to ever get laying your hands join as a driver. That's the only way to get it. So these are exclusive models. And also, David, those racers that we know from the game, like the Cupra, you actually changed them too, didn't you?
Sorry, repeat your question. I am in with that engine sound I could not hear you.
Well, against the virtual noise then, some of the cars, some of the models, they look used, don't they, like the Cupra? They are in the original GTR game too, but you also changed them, didn't you?
Yes, we reworked a lot of details. We used, as you say, original cars, but we adapted our own category, the STC GT. So, as you say, there are a lot of details. I could explain one to one all the cars. I think we would not have time enough in talk about all the details changed in the cars.
Okay, and what amazes me is that apparently this is not done by professionals, but just by dedicated fans, isn't it?
Yes, but the real thing is that they are professionals because the way they work. Not only the cars, we have my team boys here that made a superb work modding all the circuits. Same that we talked before in the cars. The details changed and updated in the circuits are amazing and are a lot. For example, in Bahrain, we have added and we have reworked all the cameras second, one by one.
And they are still superb, as our viewers can see here. They are really, really great. And yeah, watch it back to back with the Formula 1 folks, and give us a note. So, thank you, David, for your impressions. Let's go back to the race. Jose, at this point, those of you who've been with us before may know that I don't see on my screen what you see on your screen unless Jose tells me where we are. Which car are we following at the moment while we were battling away?
Well, we are in P2 now, Eckhart.
So, P2 it is, Lude Andersson for the Danielsson Motorsports, and here you can see very nicely what we've done to keep the cars better apart this year. It was one of the things that came up in the break between the two seasons. Lude Andersson in the red DMSV Ford GT, and then behind him Torbjörn Lindau, if you could show him please, Jose, in the white DMSV. So it's really much easier this season for you to keep them apart, especially if you see the guys somewhere out in the back of the field and you don't see the name on the screen. It should be easier this season to keep the two players from one team apart. And I can see that the field has stretched out a little. Lindau seems to have lost contact to Andersson, and Andersson in turn has lost contact a little to race leader Vincent Stahl, who is doing what he does best, and that is pulling away from his opponents. I mean, Vincent Stahl, basically, he is engaged in fights in the first, let's say, 2, maybe 3 laps of a race. That's about it. The next thing you see is he's crossing the line, and it's usually a black and white flag that greets him first. And so, let's see if he can pull off one of his great performances again here. He came to the STC 2 seasons ago with a winning streak that is still unparalleled. I think he took like the last 4 races in a block, or at least 3 of the last 4 races, and secured DHR's first title 2 seasons ago. They defended their title last season. It was really, really, really close. Only notched up the points they needed in, I think, the very last race against Danielsson Motorsports, who have been leading for most of the season. But as you can see here, Lude Andersson, at least to me, who's a new guy on the Danielsson team, and he is ultra fast too, and I think they've chosen a really great ride. At least it looks very aggressive to me. And since we see a lot of the Danielson Motorsports, let me quickly point out some of the sponsors that you can see on their ride. Here, got a little note from team boss John Westerlund just this morning, telling me what's it all about, because I asked him, who are all these people on your ride? They seem to be real sponsors, and yes, indeed they are. Their main sponsor is Time, and that is not the newspaper, or sorry, the magazine, but it's a franchise chain of mini-marts. And it's also the Swedish Postal Service is situated in these shops in many parts of Sweden. Right here, as you can see, the sign of the Swedish Post here on the driver and co-driver door, also on the rear bumper. And then other sponsors that they have is Metro, that's the international three-day newspaper, Motor Event Mentorp Park, which you can spot it anywhere, and Almstedt Motor Town is a collection of car dealerships, showrooms in the Stockholm-Arlanda airport. If you haven't go to Stockholm and driving a car there to Almstedt Motor Town and make these guys happy, but tell them you came because you heard their name on psrtv.com. That will make us happy. Ooh, nice little slide here by Ludi Andersson. And also then, of course, on their racers they have their team sign, and that is, if I'm not mistaken, Wolf there, opening his mouth with a nice tongue sticking out. You'll also see that on the BMWs of the second team. Red, black and white for team number 1, green and black and white for team number 2. That rain is still on the horizon. Jose, what's your guess? Will we see rain here in the desert?
Well, I don't know. I did not think it was possible to see rain in Bahrain, but today I was surprised saying that his brother was for holidays in Bahrain last week and was raining all the time. So, well, now I don't know. I'm confused.
Well, at least it shows that our weather system is kind of accurate, isn't it? If we have then at least rain on the horizon here in virtual Bahrain, the day before the Formula One season kicks off in real life Bahrain. And so basically we actually chose this track for season starter because we thought it was a neat idea to have it back-to-back with the Formula One start in Bahrain as well. I'm really missing Andreas today because he was the guy who was pointing me to some of the fights further down the grid. David Garcia, have you seen anything further down the grid that we should show on the screen where there's a really close battle somewhere?
Yes, of course, we could go P10 with Johan Pesula.
Okay, off we go to P10. Jose, if you are with me.
Yes. Just jumping from car by car as we are forced to do with GTR Evolution.
Yep. It's not bad though, really, because you actually see where people are and how far apart they are, and here we are. I suppose in position number 10 with Johan Pesula. Same sponsors we talked about right now because they're the same team. Well, they're the junior team, and you can see that postal thingy there, blue and yellow, Swedish Post up there, and it's a beautiful German brand, of course, BMW Z4, and one of those parking about the same place I park every morning, so get to pass it. Really nice car in real life too. Followed by a racer that I hardly ever see in real life. That's Grigory Tsogoti, and I must confess I'm not really into cars. Maybe David or Jose, you can tell me a little bit more about that racer we see there for the Project D. It's one of those American muscle cars, isn't it?
Yes, the car is for the Mustang GT. Well, it's in fact in real life is pure power because it's really simple car. It's everything is on the engine. The rest of the car is really 80s technology. Overall suspension is as simple as you can imagine. Ours is a bit more technological, so it's I have to say it's better racer than it is on real life probably, because it struggles too much with corners because the kind of suspension it has in the rear. It's very drifting car.
Sorry for the interruption. We have the first car pitting in, possibly on soft tires. It is Carlos Hernandez from the HR.
Yeah, that brings us to another great new feature in the mod that I really kept for this part of the race. We do have a new choice of tires. David, maybe you want to explain to our listeners. Soft tires in GTR Evo, what's that?
Yes, well, we wanted to add that new feature to our series in our attempt to make it more and more real every day. So we added 4 compounds instead of the usual wet and dry we had in the game version, the standard one. So we have soft tires and hard tires for dry. We have an intermediate compound. You know, when it's not raining and it's not dry.
Yeah, so like 30% rain, 50% rain, that kind of weather.
Exactly. And then we have the wet tires when it's full wet.
Alright, so also then, as in real life, those intermediates, they would be okay in the, as you said, not dry, not wet, but if you put them on in the dry, they'll run down pretty quickly, won't they?
Exactly. If you make a wrong choice, especially choosing a wet tire when the track is dry, as in real life, your tires will be gone in 5 laps.
Oh well, I hope we'll see. Well, I don't hope that for the racer who it happens to, but it certainly adds some spice. And you think that the DHR Fanatec, then at least one of the racers was on soft tires and is already in the pit now?
Well, if it was my team having different compounds, I would go for different strategies. So, as answering to your question, Eckhart, I would say yes. One of the cars should be in dry. In soft.
Okay. And we can see also here, following Grigori Gotti and also following Johan Pesula, the great job you did of balancing the ride. Really, but I'm quite a bad sim player, let's face it, but when I tested these rides in January, they all had their ups and downs, they all had their pros and cons, so it looks to me as if Pesula if it comes to, turning the corner nimbly, it's definitely his ride that is better, but if it comes to putting down the sheer power at the end of the straight, it's possibly the Project D car that's better.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I also like the sounds. How did you put in the sounds? Gunther Rohrer, did he actually take a microphone, walk out to the track and catch some sounds? Or how on earth do you do that?
Well, it's the modding team work. I am not sure, Eckhart. I suppose the original sound was recorded this way, as you say. But I would say that the ones we are using are versions of the ones originals from different games.
Alright, so maybe distorted electronically to make it sound like, as if this was one of the... Because you obviously notice it when you're in the, for example, BMW, who's rather silent really, and one of these huge, massive Mustangs coming up from behind, you hear that sound a mile off. It's breathtaking.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, we have. Sorry for the interruption. We have
no
P2, Jude Anderson in pit.
Ah, brilliant. And we still have here Chukoti trying to get past, but there's really no way he can get past. And I also see now my teammate, Christopher Larsson, going into the pits.
Of course, P2 is better.
And we have a spin by Tor Quolman. He was in P2, he dropped down to P4, he was touched. Either by Torbjörn Lindau or by Dragos Haber. I couldn't quite make it out because I was just moving my camera to these racers as David on the internal microphone advised me that there was a huge battle going on. So we have Torbjörn Lindau in 2, Vincent Stahl still in 1, Lindau in 2 under immense pressure from Dragos Haber. And well, if Haber puts pressure on me, it takes about half a second and he's passed, but Torbjörn Lindau, that's another cup of tea. He's going to really have a fight on his hand here, Dragos, and Lindau is doing everything he possibly can to fight him off, to hold him off. And this completely different concept of cars that we see here is the Ford GT40 with that mid-engine, and the Marcos Marcorelli, I suppose, from the looks of it, should have the engine in the front, shouldn't it? And they're now down into the last corner before the start and finish. Haber attacking on the inside. Haber sticking to it on the inside. Lindau trying to make this a clean move, and great work by both racers here. Lindau couldn't defend anymore against Haber, and Haber is passed into P2. He's still probably just a little mad from that tap he got in T1 or T2 that turned him, and he's still trying to make up for that and trying to get back, trying to find the rhythm. And he's now past Lindau, who, by the look of it, I may be wrong, but by the look of it, is having tire problems. It looks as if he's really having a hard time getting his racer, the Ford GT40, through the turns, as I would say, not really correctly, but smoothly. Whereas if you look at Haber's lines, they are always aggressive, knowing Dragos, but they are a bit smoother than Lindau's, aren't they? And look at the way Haber is pulling away. Already there's something like 1.2 seconds between them. Yes, sorry.
Yes, I was about to say we are having lots of actions in the pit. Four cars. Johan Pesula, Christopher Aponte, and Gregory Kugotti.
Oh well, so different teams there. Obviously, as you pointed out, maybe following different strategies. And it's a new item for most of us, isn't it? We've been restricted really by the two tire choices we have in GTR Evo as compared to other racing games. And this opens up a wholly new field, as you say, especially with that rain. But I may be mistaken. It looks as if the track is completely dry now, and if that rain is still on the horizon, but not going to come anytime soon. Looks like a dry race to me.
Well, the conditions in the track, as you say, Eckhart, now it is dry, but the forecast says raining.
Alright, and we have Haber going into the pits. So that leaves Torbjörn Lindau back in the position he just lost, regaining it. I would have bet that his tires were way worse than Haber's, but it looks as if he's still in that position where he says, okay, tires might be going, but I'm still pretty quick. I'd rather stick it out for another 1 or 2 laps. And I know that Danielson Motorsports have something like a whole professional team watching the race, watching the conditions on the virtual track, and then actually changing strategies as they go along. Something that the smaller teams, of course, won't be able to do.
Okay, guys, we have David Greco, Dragos Haber, and Tor Quolman in pit at the moment.
And what a lineup that is. I mean, Haber, Greco and Quolman would be great if they would come back on the track in something like a fighting group.
Okay, and Luke Manga, Neil Gold, and Nigel Atkins are joining and pit. You know, there are 7 or 8 cars at pit right now.
Yeah, and better they should. We're about halfway through, aren't we? I didn't quite catch the time when the race started, but should be about halfway.
And the leader is pitting in now.
Leader going into the pits. And it's like a traffic jam out there. Watching the pits, there's all kinds of action going on. And Jose, you might want to go to positions 17 and 18. There's a really nice fight there between your teammate, Kevin Ledoux, and chap with my favorite name, Roy Carlos, for Flat Out, following him very closely.
Yeah, okay. Also, the car in P2 is pitting in now.
I suppose we should do a rundown once that hectic pit activity is past, shouldn't we? And for those who are watching Kevin Ledoux now, you can see on his car is already pretty better up, that Corvette. He's got a smack on the left-hand side. He went into somebody went into him. And also, on the right front, you can see that the lights there are pretty damaged. So, just goes to show how hard the fights are, even in the back of the field here. And 17, 18 in the STC, these are really, really fast guys. And so very close fights also back there. And what I really like again about the Black Rebels is that you put your pin-up on it as usual, and they're passing a DHR racer who is very slow indeed. That looks like big trouble for Tor Qualman. His car is all banged up in the front, position number 18, Jose, and he is crawling back to the pits. He must have gone off the track somewhere while we were not watching. He's down to 19 now, and it's a slow and painful lap back for Danish racer Tor Qualman, for the defending champions with the number 1, for Danumain Sim Racing, for DHR GP, for DHR GP, and it must be a long way. Fortunately for him, it's about 800 meters in real life left, about a kilometer or so. And he's out now on the second to last straight. He's moving to the right side, so he's not getting in the way of anyone. And let's hope that he can rejoin the race, and let's hope that he can regain at least some of the positions. But he's losing heavily here, down to 19. And he's now passed by the 2 guys fighting for the top there. That was Vincent Stahl and I think Lud Andersson. And Qualman is moving into the pits. Yes, he is. I think we should go back to the front. There seems to be a huge battle up there. No problem, Jose. I'll keep the viewers informed about that battle. It's Vincent Stahl, who has just moved back into position number 1. And it was indeed Lud Andersson, who has gained, as the Danielsons are wont to do. They are just awesome in the pits. And he has gained on Vincent Stahl all that advantage that Stahl had. It was about like 5, 6, 7 seconds before the pits is now gone. And he has Lud Andersson in the Ford GT all over his back, and they are really close here.
It's obvious there's a problem with the pit stop. Thor and Keith have problems fitting in something not working for them with the pit stop.
There seems to be a problem then as you enter the pits, the pit strategy doesn't seem to be switched on or something. And
I'm not sure
the camera,
like they get blocked when
okay.
they are fitting in.
Yep. And Jose, could we follow positions number 1 and 2, because Lude Anderson is actually preparing to move past Vincent Stahl. He has moved closer in this lap. I have followed them here on my screen. And he's waiting, just waiting for an opportunity, and Stahl is defending for all he's worth. And that's something new to see. Vincent Stahl defending, and he's doing a great job of it, trying to make that Porsche as huge as possible in the turns without being unfair. And from what I've seen so far, he's managing quite well, but Anderson is really hot on his trail. Some great power sliding here by Anderson coming out of that turn just now. Just goes to show you how the guy is fighting to keep up with Vincent Stahl and to actually maybe get past. Wheels blocking the middle as they turn that hairpin here. And we're now moving into what I find personally as one of the worst turns, because it's going downhill and it's off camber, and they both have locked wheels a little. And now they are back out onto that straight behind the main start and finish straight, and they're into that last little hilly section. And if I see that correctly, it's Dragos Harbor in 3, so he has managed to gain a lot of positions back that he lost in the start. And what a battle this is. We are in P4 now. Another huge battle with another guy moving up the grid, David Greco, and he is putting the pressure on Kevin Clark, racing for Flat Out in the Vertigo. And they are both followed by the second of the Danielson Motorsports virtual racers, that's Torbjörn Lindau. So Greco in the Black Rebels Corvette, not as banged up as the other Corvette before actually. That's typical David Greco style, likes to keep it clean. And having said that, I think both his rear lights have gone off. I see silver there instead of red, but never mind. And this is a truly defensive line here by Kevin Clark, but Greco's on the slipstream. Greco's on the inside. Greco's braking very, very, very late. Let's see if he can pull it off. Yep. In true Greco style, he certainly manages to pull it off. Brilliant move here by David. And you must feel happy, you Black Rebels out there.
Yes, of course. It was a long time.
Yep, and David Garcia, you prepared the skin, didn't you?
Yes, I worked on the skin.
How does it feel to see your skin making a move like that? And ooh, poor Kevin Clark, he's eaten up by Lindau there, trying to make a move on Greco. He just got out a little long, and then Lindau moved in with a real killer move and moved on the inside. But back to the question, David, how does it feel to see your skin doing that awesome move?
Yeah, well, it's better to see it this way than out of the circuit, obviously.
Brilliant. So Kevin Clark, sad to say, for Flat Out, down from 4 to 6. But let's face it, there's very little that actually gets in the way of David Greco. As he moves up here, he's already in P4. Dig this, folks, he was in 25 at the beginning of the race about an hour ago, and now he is in 4. But the positions that he has left now, as you can see, now in front of him there's a whole stretch of empty tarmac, virtual tarmac, and the next racer is Dragos Haba, who has just finished his run-up the start and finish straight and is approaching T1. So that gives you an idea of how far apart they are. Pretty much the length of the start and finish straight between Greco and Haba. Let's see how far he can get. So moving down the grid, yep, Larsson pitting, my team. He was up to 9 due to the pits, and we now see that unfortunately Qualman had to leave the race. Seems that that pit problem never really got solved. Shame to see him go, and a bad day really for the DHR. They're losing Qualman there, who was in position, I think, 4. The last time he was racing for real. And but we're now with 11, 12, and 13, and we have a really interesting battle, also car-wise. We have that smallest racer, that nimblest racer on the whole field, that's the Black Visor Motorsports racer. And David, maybe you can tell us a little bit about this racer we see here. It looks odd, doesn't it?
Sorry, repeat your question, Eckhart.
No problem. The racer that the Black Visors have chosen is a really tiny car. Can you tell us a little bit about that car? Where is it from? What engine does it run in real life? As I said, I'm not really into these things, so I have no clue. It just looks great.
Yes, the shape of the car is fantastic. It looks really well. In real life, it is a kit car. You can buy it by pieces, you know, and end it on your own. You can add the engine you want to the car.
What engine do people usually choose for a car like that?
Well, I really don't have a clue, Eckhart, but I suppose, I don't know, a Spider engine car, you know, like a Toyota, like a Porsche.
Yep.
I am not sure.
Okay. And then you just take your screwdriver, put it all together, and you have your racer. And it actually races in real life, does it?
Well, I am sure it does. I am sure. In fact, I think there is actually one model of this car racing in Japan. In GT class.
Oh, brilliant. And we just now saw Grigory Shugoty in his huge big Mustang. These Black Visor guys, they must feel so small with that huge Mustang in the rearview mirror. And trying to make a move, but he can't get past the midges. He obviously can't, because they're really nimble, and you did such a great job in the mud, putting them on an equal footing, and it's a great joy to watch them here. It's a bit like David and Goliath, isn't it?
Yeah, looks like it, David.
Guys, I have a little update on the problems pitting in. It seems it's because the auto pit function that well, I know that was said in race department time ago to turn it off with mod tracks, because there were some pitting in problems with the mod tracks and the auto pit function, and it seems it's not sure, but it seems both drivers with problems pitting in have it activated. That can be a reason for the problems. too bad because they were doing a good race.
Yeah, it must be, wholly mistaken because, Torque Foreman would never, in his real mind, actually put on the auto pit. He's such a great racer. He would just simply must have forgotten it or something, or maybe accidentally switched it back on again. So that would be really a shame. I think this first turned up at Spa-Francorchamps, but that track was first out. I remember we did a league race on that, and it was one of the hugest issues on the forum boards. And now we see Shogotti again trying to nab Neil Gold at the end of the long straight, but Gold he can brake really, really late with that little wee racer he has there, and Shogotti, the image of impotence, I would say, having that huge Mustang with all these virtual horsepowers, and he simply can't get past. He was moving out after slipstream, did the best he could. I could have done that by far, but he didn't get past. No way. And by now I think he knows every bit of writing on the back of Neil Gold's car. He knows every single virtual screw that must be shown there. And he knows his racing lines inside out. Well, got me there, Black Visors. I can see there's no writing at all on the back of the car because there's a tail light and I think where the air turn gets back out in the rear there, diffuser light, and that's about it. Only white paint. And maybe you should add a slogan, Black Visor, for the next races, something like "Don't pass me" or something. Anyway, here's Neil Gold. Again, Shogotti coming very close. Shogotti desperately looking for an alternative line. This is a wide track, but still, let's face it, the ideal line is the ideal line. And Shogotti looking all over the place to find a way past. So lining him up again on this straight. He might try something at the end. He's moving out again. What a great fight this is. Moving out again into the brake zone. He has to brake early. He has to brake way earlier than Gold. And again, he can't make his move. Now Gold, already defending at the beginning of the long straight. Look at that. And it's back to the slipstream again for Shogotti. Out of the slipstream, we've seen this before, guys. We've seen it before. Gold making a little move, and now in the brake zone, braking way earlier than Shogotti, getting away with it. But I don't want to know what that does actually to Neil's tires. Might be that if Grigory just waits a little, he can finally catch him because tires will be going off. And look how that fight is costing them speed, because the second of the Black Visors, that is Nigel Atkins, can actually move away. That's the green one, Atkins, whereas Gold is the red one. Jose, pits have been done, problems and all. Let's have a rundown, shouldn't we? From the back of the field all the way to the top.
Okay, let's move to the back of the field then.
Alright, we should be in position 18 now with Brian Ronald for the Flat Out Juniors, one of the 3 junior teams on the grid. They certainly bring color to the grid because we have new names here. Brian Ronald, his first race in the STC, in that beautiful Scirocco, great skin, and that Flat Out presented here for the Flat Out Junior team. They're called Flat Out Club actually, so we always call them Flat Out Junior. And he is about to be overtaken, or he's just overtaken by race leader Vincent Stahl, and now he's about to be overtaken by position number 2, Danielsson Motorsports racer Lude Andersson. So 18 for Ronald, still in the race. That means we have 6 races already out of the race, and his teammate, that was, hang on, half a second, Ken Bell, never even made it on the grid. There must have been some problems there in the qualifying, so we have 25 cars actually on the grid already at the start. Then in 17, moving up, we have Black Rebels racer Kevin Ledoux fighting there, I think, with one of my teammates for positions number 17 and 16. Kevin Ledoux in the Corvette that changed colors a lot. It was silver, and it was gold, it was white, it was black, and now we have green, gold, and white in what I think is a great job there. Kevin Ledoux for the Black Rebels. Then in 16 we have Roy Carles for the Flat Out Racing in the Vertigo Strife. And I suppose he's just been overtaken by my teammate, who is Mikael Larsson. Some airtime at last for the Blue Flaggers. Mikael Larsson sporting our colors, blue and white. We had a black Corvette last year for a change, but we're basically back to basics this year with the skin prepared by Crystal Larsson. No relation, as I said before, to Mikael Larsson. Just happens to be a kind of common name in Sweden. Mikael Larsson on the way up the grid in 15. Then we have the second of the Project D racers, Luc Mongas, in 14, bit alone there, really, way back to Larsson in the back, and then his teammate, I think, still in 13. And that is Gregory Sogoti, whose vain attempts to pass the Black Visor Motorsports racers we have witnessed in the last 2 laps. So Sogoti 13, Neil Gold in the red Black Visor racer in 12, and Nigel Atkins in the light green that goes for the fins and also for that stripe on the windshield in position number 11. In 10 we have Christopher Aponti, who organizes the Le Mans series at race departments. Thank you, Chris, for doing that. Christopher doing a great job there. And that's of course an R-Factor series, while we are here with GTR Evo. He is in the white Roaring Pipes Maniacs car, while Haba is in the black one. Little dent in the front shows us that Aponti has had some trouble somewhere along the way. Right now, he is chasing very, very closely Jon Westerlund of the DMS Danielsson Motorsports Virtual Team number 2 in the BMW Z4, Z4. And this is Westerlund. This is the green racer that we have, while Pisuda has a white stripe on the windshield, and also I think they have green and white rear view mirrors, so it should be easy for you to keep them apart, to tell them apart. And Aponti is one of your racers that really, really takes it. Oh, and now he has gotten too close. Just as I said, sorry Christopher, just as I said, he was the kind of racer that really waits patiently for his chance. He's your long distance man, and just as I said that, he was getting just a bit too close to Jon Westerlund in the Danielsson racer, and trying to avoid contact actually, stepped on the brakes and produced a little turn there, so that gives Westerlund some breathing space here in the race. That's position number 9 for you, Jon Westerlund for the Danielsson Motorsports Virtual. Christopher Larsson for the Blue Flags, that's our red BMW. We have the Amnesty International stripe there, and the windshield also in the rear, and that's red here. is an 8, which is of course a huge pleasure to your commentator, who is also a member of this fearless team, who, let me note, has been with the STC from the beginning on all tournaments. There's no other team other than the Black Rebels who has done that. And we have Johan Pesula of the Danielsson Motorsports Virtual Team 2. And didn't we fight with those guys last season? It's the same fight all over again. He is in 7. In 6, Kevin Clark for the Flat Out Racing. And you can see him wearing the number 4. One thing here in the STC, the team that won the championship gets car number 1, the runners-up get 2, and third place get number 3, and so on. So you can see that Flat Out were in 4th position overall at the end of last season. Kevin Clark for you in position number 6. Position number 5, we are with the Danielsson Motorsports Virtual Team 1. Same animal on the side, but different colors and a completely different ride for Torbjörn Lindau in the Ford GT40. And in position number 4, David Greco for the Black Rebels, the other team that's been with the tournament from the beginning on, all 5 seasons. Way back when we started with Race 07 and the WTCC. Fun we have. David Greco in 4. Ludde Andersson down to 3 because he has just been overtaken by Dragos Haber in the black Roaring Pipes Maniacs car, but he's fighting back. Andersson on the inside now as they approach turn number 4. And Andersson struggling to get the power down as they speed out of that turn, and Haber's line's much cooler than Andersson's. So it's either Andersson's driving style that we haven't witnessed so far, or it's the GT40 and the tires. Look at that, he's having a hard time putting all that power onto the tarmac, onto the virtual tarmac, and getting out of the turns. Definitely Haber is just a little faster. Andersson sliding nicely here through that hairpin, and on the tracks now of Dragos Haber, or Dragos, and let's see if he can catch him before the next turn. No, he can't. But let's see what these two are up to as they approach the long start and finish straight. Well, Haber pulling away. No chance, I would say, for Ludde Andersson to make a move here. Nope, definitely not. He's all over the place in every turn. That ride is really twitchy there for him. And look at the distance Haber has put between Andersson's ride and his in just this one lap. I would guess it's about 1 second. And if he goes on doing that, he will pull away nicely. So Dragos Haber in 2, he almost regained the position he had at the start, but the top position is still held by Vincent Stahl of the DHR GP. He has just left one of the blue flaggers. White car must be Mikkel Larsson. But Dragos Haber is not so far behind. And as we're following the leader, let me tell you that Haber had a problem getting out of a turn. He has slid, and we must go back 1 position, Jose. Sorry, because Andersson now is past Haber. Haber in huge trouble here. His tires must be completely shot by now, because that doesn't usually happen to your Dragos Haber. He had a problem getting out of one turn. He was all over the place. Then Anderson got past him, and as they approached the turn, I think Dragos did was something like a saving move, moving on the outside there, because he really had problems with his ride, and instead of taking Ludi Anderson out with him in a wild slide, he decided to rather move onto the tarmac that's on the side there and let Anderson pass. So Harbour down to 3, Anderson up to 2, and let's move to the race leader back, and that is Vincent Stahl in position number 1.
Eckhart, while you were talking about the fight in P2 and P3, it was a huge fight. Thorborn Lindau managed to overtake David Grekov in the fight for position 4.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I'm just checking the times here on the time billboard, and I see that 14 racers are still in one lap. That is really a great result for all those who managed to do it. The first one out is Mikael Larsson for the blue flag in position number 15. And to give you an update on the distance between racers, it's Stahl in lead, 12 seconds behind is Harbour. Only half a second behind is Anderson. Lindau is down 20 seconds to Anderson, and Greco is just like 1 second behind him. Then we have a gap of 8 seconds to Kevin Clark, and a gap of 14 seconds to Pesula, and a gap of 7 seconds to Christopher Larsson in 8, just to give you an idea of how far apart these races are. So Larsson in 8 is a minute down to race leader Vincent Stahl, who still has a 14-second lead over second position racer Dragos Harbour, and really should go back to that fight. I don't know if we are with it at the moment. Jose, where are we?
Well, we just switched in the opposite direction. We were in the fight, and I moved to leader when you were saying...
Never mind. That's the following PSR TV. We have a 10-second delay between catching the race here on our screens and the picture is actually moving out to you, and that accounts for me not always knowing exactly where we are on the grid, but for that I have Jose, and he always puts me in the picture. Thank you for that. And I was just on that screen giving us the times, and it's only 12 minutes, only a dozen minutes left before the end of the race. Let's have a first quick summary here from you two guys who set all this up. Jose, how does it feel to see the work of like hundreds and hundreds of hours out here on the track for the first time? How does it feel?
Well, it feels good. I think in general we can be happy. I feel a bit sorry because the pitching problems that are not related to the mod or more to the game, but it's a pity that two guys lost their race because of that. But anyway, that's their life in sim racing. And with the results of the work.
And you can be proud. I think it's a wonderful grid we're showing you here, and it's also fantastic racing we've seen for positions, as usual in the STC, all down the grid. It doesn't really matter whether these guys are in 18 or 12 or 8. They're really struggling, really trying to squeeze every tenth of a second out of their rides, and so lots of action all the way up and down. David, how does it feel to you, the other brain behind the STC, to see finally the first race here at Virtual Bahrain?
Well, we really have been expecting that day to come, and I am really happy because everything is working fine. As Jose say, the little problem with the pits maybe have added some dirty on the result, but I'm really happy. I think it's proving to work really well and without problems.
Yep. And if Gunther Rowe is seeing this, watching this on psrtv.com, possibly next morning in New Zealand. Gunther, you did a great job, and also the track guy, Maxime. Give me that second name again, David. Maxime.
Poesia, if it's the way it should be spelled.
Yeah, we'll talk to him or have a tight interview with him next race. You'll learn more about his work, and I must also say, great job you've done, and also great job to the teams for sticking with us, for testing the mod, for delivering these beautiful skins we've seen. Everybody appeared here today, everybody was there on time, and it all worked out nicely. We had lively discussions on the forum, but at the end of the day, we always get our act together, don't we?
Yes, Eckhart, I think you pointed in the right direction. The teams are doing a great job as well. Sometimes we don't think about it, but they are always behind the scene. They are on time, posting the entry list, and I think all the teams take care of improving the series on their own way.
Yep. So 8 minutes to go in this race. 8 minutes, that comes up to about 4 to 5 laps. I don't think poor Lude Anderson has a chance to catch second position to Dragos Harbor, who is slowly but surely pulling away. And on the other hand, Harbor doesn't even see race leader Vincent Stahl on this short straight that we have here, but I don't think he sees him on the long straight either. So it looks as if the positions number 1, 2, and 3, the podium positions, are taken, and they are taken really by the big teams here in the series. Number 1 at this moment, Vincent Stahl for DHR GP, sponsored by Seacraft. Number 2 for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs, Dragos Harbor. And number 3 for Lude Anderson, and that's the Danielsson Motorsports Virtual, who were very, very, very close to clinching their first title in their second season in the STC last year, but they just missed it so narrowly to DHR GP, who had a great finish in the series last time. Well, 6 minutes to go, or 7 minutes to go. Let me quickly check. Okay, and I can see, as I am in the pits now myself, I can see the flat-out guy, the flat-out club racer, who was in the last position. That's Brian Ronald. He's in the pits again, so he must have also had a little problem with his tires. And what a great battle that is for position 10 and 9. It's Aponte moving up on the inside here, but Pesula, Westerlund in the, can't see it from the back, in the green, Danielsson Motorsports, BMW, yep, I was just checking for the color, green or white, and it's the green one. John Westerlund in the green BMW Z4, defending for all it's worth against Aponte. This is where we were like 3 laps ago, and where Aponte had that little turn, so he definitely is faster, but he only has 5 minutes left to prove that he can get past. He's looking for that alternative line, but he's on the outside now. They had a little touch there, and the only thing he can do now is brake early and try to get on the inside. Let's see if he's trying for that move. Yes, he does. And now the run-up now is to first a left-hander, but now that he decides to turn is a right-hander, and there he is, Aponte. That was a textbook overtaking maneuver there by Christopher Aponte. Very, very well executed, and even somebody as experienced as Jon Westerlund couldn't defend against that. Great stuff there, Christopher Aponte for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs in the white car. And the fight that they've been... Ooh, and now Aponte has a massive slide going into that hairpin, but he just catches his ride, but he's very slow now on the straight, of course, and Westerlund might see a chance to execute the exact same move. He's in the position. He's braking a bit earlier. He's trying to get on the inside, and now he's trying to move out on the left-hand side of Aponte. Aponte is crossing his line, of course, trying to annihilate that move, and he's managed to defend. Brilliant sim racing here by these two, and the tires must be, the virtual tires must be really, really shot by now. And you can see how much speed that fight is, because Nigel Atkins for the Black Visors is slowly creeping up on them. He's only got 3 minutes left, which is about 2 laps. So it might be too late for him, but at the moment he's a real winner in this fight, coming slowly upon these other two. And in the back we can see that poor Chogati is still holed up behind the second Black Visor racer, and Aponte's racer is all over the place. He is sliding, he's trying to stay in control, and he's giving it his all, with Westerlund now in the luckier position of putting the pressure on Aponte. This is where Aponte started his move. Westerlund is choosing a different strategy, moving in on the inside, but nothing going there for him. Sounds like a perfect idea, because also I think that Christopher is very slowly moving away. Just as I say this, he's drifting madly, but it seems to be the only strategy left to keep that car on the track. Yeah, let's go down to position number 10. That is in fact Jon Westerlund. And let's move up the grid. In line, as we've seen, Christopher Aponte for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs white car. In 8, I'm very happy, still there, Christopher Larsson, taking home huge points for the Blue Flag Racing. And there's no one in his rear view mirrors, and not very much happening in front of him, so he should have an easy time here. Johan Peisula for the Dyson Motorsports Team 2. And the BMW there, second BMW
This is
model.
a whisper, guys.
In 7.
In some seconds we will start the final lap.
And David just told me that the final lap is upon us, so let's quickly move to the front. Kevin Clark in 6 for the Fat Out Racing, after a great race for him. In 5, Torbjörn Lindau. I think he would have wanted to finish 1 or 2 spaces up, but it was not to be. There was a lot of competition out there today, and Lindau in 5. David Greco in 4. And please don't mix him up with Kevin Ledoux, the second of the Black Rebels, who is just now making way for Lindau to pass him. He is 2 laps down, I think, or 1 lap down, sorry, 1 lap down. Greco in 4, up from 25, don't forget. Lud Andersson, down the start and finish straight for the last time for him, and he's moving very, very, very slow. Tires must be absolutely shot. Andersson in 3. Dragos Harbour, the pole sitter, in 2. I'm saying Dragos Harbour, the pole sitter? Yes, I was right. Just checking here. And then, still number 1, Vincent Stahl, who is just overtaking that battle there for 11 and 12 between Black Visor racer Neil Gold in the red Black Visor and Grigory Shugoti for the Project D. But let's follow Vincent Stahl here, doing what he does best, that is winning a race in the STC. He only has 3 turns to take. Sorry, 2. That's the second to last one. He's out now onto that stretch that leads up to the last turn. It's a picture we've seen before, in different colors though. Black and blue they were. Orange, white and yellow they are now. DHR Simcraft or DHR GP. and he's out onto the start and finish straight, and he's about to take the first victory of the season. Vincent Stahl, after 90 minutes in virtual Bahrain, little antics here of him on the front straight, and he's through position number 1. Position number 2, Dragos Harbor, taking the last turn for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs in the Marcos Marcorelli version black. Down the straight, across the line, checkered flag for him. Well done, Dragos, in 2. Lute Anderson for the Nielsen Motorsports in 3. We have the big teams up front. And David Greco for the Black Rebels, the team behind the STC. He is in 4, up from 25. Torbjörn Lindau for the Nielsen Motorsports in 5. Kevin Clark in the last turn, out of the last turn for the last time. Throttle all the way down for the flat out, a great result for them. Position number 6 gives them a number of points in the overall standings. They'll be pleased with that result. And I think the last guy out on the track who has not been left, if I'm not mistaken, that's Johan Pesuda. No, there should be at least 2 or 3 more out there. Pesuda in 7. Christopher Larsson for the Blue Flag Racing in 8. Crossing the finish line now. Great race by him. Aponte in the white RPM cars, still out there. Oh, and in the back we see disaster for John Westerlund in the very last lap. In position number 10, he gets off the track. Only 2 turns to go, and he's off. Christopher Aponte approaching the start and finish straight for a 9th position. He is through, and Nigel Atkins in 10. Through 2 for the Black Visors. And Johan Westerlund, minus the splitter, very, very slowly, very carefully taking that damaged BMW across the finish line here. He must be so mad. Whatever happened there, we didn't quite catch it. I just saw him in the back there going into the wall, and it looked as if he had problem getting the power down coming out of that turn. That was it, folks. That was the first race of the season. We have a winner, and it's Vincent Stahl. Right, folks, as usual, we're trying to get the podium people here for a brief interview, 3 questions each on the race, on the season, on the STC and their impressions. Especially, I'd like to hear a little bit about that T1, T2, but it's 90 minutes ago, so maybe they will have to watch the replay first before they can give me accurate information. Let's see. Busy behind the scenes is Jose, trying to get the people in. Jose, do I have contact with Vincent Stahl at this point?
Yes, he is with us now.
Hi, Vince. Congratulations on your first win in the new season. Not your first win in the STC, though. How does it feel? Vincent Stahl, you out there? Can you hear me? Well, he can race, but he sure can't talk at this point. Maybe I have the guy who was in position number 2, Dragos Haba, with me in the room. I'm all alone. Dragos, are you with me?
Well, he's in the room, but it seems he's not in the radio.
Well, he might just have, giving in to natural functions, as I would call it. In position number 3, if I'm not mistaken, it was a newcomer to the STC, Ludi Andersson. And Ludi, maybe he's with us now for an interview.
Eckhart, maybe you can interview Jose or me.
I think maybe Dragos is with us now. I think I just saw the green light.
A green light is always good.
I cannot hear anyone except you, Jose.
Let's try it like this. Dragos, can you hear me now?
Definitely. Hi, guys.
Okay, so I hope that the people outside can hear me too, because this is my whisper button. All of a sudden Dragos can hear my whispers, but never mind. The wonders of technology. Dragos, how was your race? You dropped pretty quickly from P1. How did that happen?
To be honest, I think I saw, I don't know if it was Ludi Andersson or Torbjörn Lindau, they were diving on the inside of corner 1, and I decided to stay wide, because if I didn't, then I would have caused a wreck. And then afterwards, when I saw him just scoot by that corner, I dove in and took my usual line, but I guess I got, I think I got tipped by somebody. It might have been Vince or someone, I don't know, and almost made me spin. It's a good thing I have reflexes and I recovered over there. And then afterwards, it was just a bunch of, I don't know, there's a term used in racing that you drop back, you just can't help it, and that's what happened. I got bumped a lot, and I had to fight my way back.
Yep, we saw. You were down to like 7 or 8 or something, and then you went back, going back up. Any battles along the way that you remember?
To be honest, the battles that I do remember, there was, I don't know, somebody from DHR, and of course the 2 DSM guys. They were fun to battle. It was a little. I don't want to say easy, because it was very difficult to get by them. They're very good in the corners, but on the straight side, I just reeled them in, and it was very convenient for me, I guess.
Okay, convenient. Nice way to talk about it. And so, bringing home lots of points for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs. So you're out to defend the title that you lost the last 2 seasons, aren't you?
Hopefully so. I hope to be seeing you guys a lot, and I hope to be seeing more Vince, actually, because I haven't raced against him, and I would really like that. So that's what I'm going for this season.
Brilliant. And any chance of your brother back in the season too?
Possibly. He is kind of on a busy schedule, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, he does love to race, and actually yesterday was his birthday, and he wanted to do the race today, but he couldn't do that, and I just, I took the spot in, and I practiced, and I did my thing.
So, happy birthday, Brother Haba. Hope to see you back one of these days. It was always great to have you in the STC, but it's also great to have Dragos, of course. Don't get me wrong.
No problems.
All right, let's see if, thank you very much, Dragos Hava, position number 2 on the podium for the Roaring Pipes Maniacs after a great fight back up the grid. Let's see if any of the other podium guys are with me now. Vincent Stahl, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Congratulations to your victory. Tell us about your race in retrospect. How did it all work out?
The qualifying went quite poor, actually. I made a mistake in the mid-sector and, well, I got 4th, I think. Well, for the race, I got a good setup from Mikko. And, well, I got a good start with the behind the DMF guys. And some of them braked a bit too late, I think, for T1. And I tried to stay on the inside, and, well, it was just a bit laggy. And I don't know, I think I might have tapped Dragos, but I have to check the replay, not sure. When after that I had a good fight with Lude Anderson, I think. And could bring it home.
Yep, you never really managed to pull that wide gap, as in half a lap, that we have sometimes seen. Is that down to the new cars in the STC? Are they really so close together that it's more difficult to open up a gap?
I don't know. Normally I use my own setup, but I didn't have time to make one, so I just tried the one from Mikko, and it felt a bit slow in the early laps, but the tires stayed brilliant, and I could just stay consistent and open the gap in the end of the stint. Well, normally I'm fast in the beginning, so it was quite fun.
Oh, okay. Quite unusual for you. And word about the tires, were you on soft or on hard?
I started on hard and I had no problems. I did not even have had a warning or something like that, so they stayed brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. So thanks, Mikko Korkiakowski, for that setup for the winner there. Some percent of the win go to you, mate. Well, thank you, Vincent Stahl, for that interview, and hope to see more of you on the STC and more battles up there with the Danielson guys and the Roaring Pipes and the Flatout and all the other great teams we have.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Okay, position number 3 was to Danielson Motorsport racer Lude Anderson, and maybe he's on the phone with me now too.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, a new face to the STC, a new voice to the STC, but it seems that you've been at it for quite a long time. Great race by you, maybe a comment from you.
This is my first race for the STC in DMSV, so yeah, I'm very happy for the podium.
What was the hardest point for you in the race? When you got passed by somebody, or were the tires giving up, or was everything running smoothly?
Yes, in the first stint, or the half of the first stint and half of the second stint, I felt competitive. My tires working great, but after half stint, I had soft slicks. So yeah, then I couldn't keep the pace, and I lost to Haba also.
Yep. We saw your virtual racer was really all over the place in the turns. You must have had a hard time just sticking to your line.
Yeah. Okay, you saw that.
We watched very closely here at the STC.
Yeah, no, it was very hard because I have 32% left on the tires, so it was very hard, half of the stint.
Well, very big congratulations then to you for bringing it home.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, you're off now for some Swedish beer, I suppose, to have a little party on your own?
Did you ask me?
Yeah, about the Swedish beer that's in the fridge now.
Yeah, absolutely. As usual.
As usual, okay. So, that wraps it up for the podium. Thank you guys for some great racing that we watched here on the psrtv.com. And thank you, Jose, and thank you, David, for making it all possible. And this is your friendly voice, Eckhard von Glan. This was the first race of the season. Hope you join us again, I think in 2 weeks' time at the Algarve track in Portugal.